Look at number 5 from yesterday, please. Look at number 5 from yesterday. Whether you tried it out or not, look at number 5. I gave you 4 multiple choices. Which one cannot be the sine of an angle? All right, and I gave you a little hint that says think about the y values on the unit circle. So I want to review that right now with you. So if you have to turn back and forth, please do so. At 0 degrees, what is that coordinate right there on the unit circle? At 0 degrees, what is that coordinate on the unit circle? Let's start with number 8. What is that coordinate? Well, you weren't here, Maddie. 1, 0. Okay, 1, 0. Let's keep going around. What is it at 90 degrees? What is that coordinate on the unit circle at 90 degrees? 17. It's never getting old. 15. 0, 1. Keep going around for me. 180 degrees. 14. And how about 270? 16? 0, -1. All right. I didn't ask for anything in between like 30, 60, 120 because they would just be in between these points. So I'm asking you guys now to answer this question. Look at all the y values. What is the smallest y value I have up there? Smallest y coordinate I have up there. Y coordinate. What's the smallest y coordinate I wrote down? 1, Olivia? -1. Okay? So I'm saying that all the sine values go from -1 to, what's my greatest y value up here? Greatest y value. 2? 1. Nothing bigger than 1, nothing smaller than -1. So if you look at the choices up here with me, there's only one choice up here that falls outside this range. And you got to use your calculator to figure out, if you don't know what radical 11 over 4 is. Okay, there's only one choice up here that falls outside that range. And that value up here would be which one? 9? Not here, thank you. How about 19? Negative radical 5 over 3. Well, let's go on to your calculator here. Negative radical 5 over 3. That would fall within that range, right? So that's a fine value for sine. So that's not going to be it. 1's going to fall outside the range, though. Did you find one that fell outside -1 or +1? If you do -3 over 2 in your calculator, what's it give you? Which is less than -1, right? Okay. So I'm doing this just to keep in mind that, hey, sine values can only go from -1 to 1. And while we're on the topic, what about cosine values? Cosine is which coordinate on the unit circle? From yesterday's class, cosine is which coordinate? Oh boy. Cosine is which coordinate? Cosine, x coordinate. What's the smallest x coordinate I have up here? Smallest x coordinate I have up here? -1. What's the biggest? What's the biggest x coordinate? 1. So same thing. Cosine can never be bigger than 1 or smaller than -1, and the same can be said for sine. Okay? Everyone good there? It's got to always, both of them have to be between -1 and 1. All right? Next up, even if you tried them or not, I still want to go over all this stuff. Find you guys that were here yesterday. This is a huge thing for me when it says exact value. What am I not looking for when it says exact value? Okay, I don't have to ask. Decimals, yep. And notice 90, 0, 180, 270. Where are all those angles? Where are all those angles located? On the line, right? The x or the y-axis. So remember what I told you yesterday? Don't use the unit circle. Just use your what instead? If you got 90, 0, 180, 270, just use what instead? Forget about the unit circle, the x and the y coordinates. What can you use instead? Darn calculator. Yeah, use your calculator. Okay? I am going to do part C with you, though, because it's in radians. Okay? You do not want to plug cosine pi in your calculator. All right? Because your calculator is probably in degree mode. Anybody remember what pi was? Pi was the same as what in degrees? 180 degrees minus sine. What's 2 pi then? 360. So you can just type that right in your calculator. So if you got an angle on the line, use your calculator. All right, I don't have time to go through the rest. You can do that on your own, but I am going to go finally finish this off with number 7. Find the exact value of cosine 45. Again, it does no use doing cosine 45 in your calculator and writing down that decimal. You're going to get it wrong. Exact value, I don't want any decimals. I want fractions and radicals. 45 degrees. Go back to your unit circle yesterday. What was the coordinate at? 45 degrees. Here you go, 9. Coordinate at 45 degrees. 11. Coordinate at 45 degrees yesterday. Nice job. So there was my coordinate. Which one? And I know you can't go wrong, but I still want to know, which coordinate do you pick off if you're looking for cosine? Cosine. Which coordinate do I want? 8. Which coordinate do I want? Oh, never mind, man. But you might want to catch up on this, though, all right, on your own. 6. Which coordinate do I want if I'm looking for cosine? The x coordinate, done. And what's the x coordinate? Radical 2 over 2. You can check it using your calculator, make sure radical 2 over 2 is the same thing as cosine. If you want to check it, hey, there's cosine of 45. What's radical 2 over 2? Same thing. So I'm going to check it. That's fine. And you know what, too? I wouldn't blame you if you did this. I've had multiple students in the past years. They just memorize that decimal as radical 2 over 2. It's up to you. Whatever gets, for me, whatever gets the job done. They plug cosine of 45. They see that decimal, and they're like, that's radical 2 over 2. I don't know. Whatever floats your boat. Any questions from yesterday? Because I am going to keep building on it today. You're going to still be on the unit circle today. Anything at all? Okay, let's keep trucking then. Now we're going to talk about, hey, if I'm in the second quadrant, what do I know about cosine and sine? Is it positive, negative? If I'm in the fourth quadrant, what do I know about cosine and sine? So you guys are going to help me fill out this little chart here real quick. Sine theta, was that my x or my y values? Y values. Let's remember that as we're filling in the chart. And cosine was my x values. Perfect. So what you're going to tell me right now, are these values positive or negative depending on the quadrant we're in? So right now we're in quadrant 1, everyone. Pretend you're in quadrant 1. What do you know about your y values in quadrant 1? Positive or negative? 19, positive or negative? Positive. And Rachel, I'll stay with you. What about your x values? Okay, so what we're saying right now is if you have an angle, somebody give me an angle in the first quadrant. 45 degrees. If you have any angle 45 degrees in the first quadrant, the sine and cosine are both positive. All right, that's going to change now when I go to quad 2. All right, both will not be positive in quad 2. Nah, not here. Yep. 5. What do you know about the y values in quadrant 2? Here's quadrant 2, right? What about the y values in quadrant 2? Positive, not off the hook yet. What about the x values in quadrant 2? Negative. All right, let's go to quadrant 3. 16. Oh, nice. Both negative. And quadrant 4. 19. Back to you, Rachel. What about the y's in quadrant 4? And what about the x's? Okay, nice job. All right, real nice. All right. Now, I don't circle to memorize. So I don't need you to memorize more. But what I'm going to have you do is, hey, I'm in the third quadrant. Here's what I'm going to say. Ashley, I'm in the third quadrant. What do you know about cosine? Okay. But without now looking at the chart and memorizing the chart. All right? No. I'm not asking you to do that. I'm just giving you a scenario right now. All right? I don't want you guys memorizing the chart, but answering that question pretty quick. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little device to remember them. All right? Right next to the left here of your table, draw an XY axis for me. In quadrant 1, please put a capital A. In quadrant 2, please put a capital S. In quadrant 3, please put a capital T. And then finally in quadrant 4, anybody want to guess this? A capital C. How is this going to help me to remember where everything is positive and negative? Ready? The A stands for all, meaning everything is positive in quadrant 1. Everything. 2, quadrant 2, guesses on what the S means. Is the only thing, sine is the only thing positive in quadrant 2. The rest, negative. Now, I know we haven't talked about this, but we will towards the end of the unit. Tangent is the only thing positive in quadrant 3. Because look what we wrote. Sine and cosine were both negative there. So tangent's the only thing positive in 3. And what about 4? Cosine is the only thing positive in quadrant 4. ASTC. Ready? All students take classes. All students take classes. If you come up with your own device, that's probably not going to be appropriate for class. You keep that to yourself. Okay? All right? All students take classes. That's how I remember where to put everything going counterclockwise. We all good there? We okay? All students take classes. All right. So here we go. Number 1. Tell me what quadrant I'm in, and then let me know if it's going to be positive or negative there. Okay? So 2 jobs. Quadrant, is it going to be positive or negative? And I don't want you to use your calculator. All right, unless it's to check it, because we should be able to do these now without the calculator. All right, here we go. 10, you're up first. 57, what quadrant am I in? 1. And it's sine in the first quadrant. What do I know about sine in the first quadrant? Positive or negative, Art? It's positive. Everything is positive in the first quadrant. And if you need to, you can check it on your calculator to see if that decimal is positive or negative. All right, next up, I'm going to need a lot of people here. Nice. 17. Nope. Nope. 9. Nope. This is on fire today. 14. 117. It is in the second quadrant, and it's cosine, Ashley. Because what's the only thing positive? S, sine. That's how I use this. All right, let's keep rolling. We're doing nice here. Nice work. 13. Negative 87. Negative 87. Quadrant 4. What do you know about sine in the fourth quadrant? Negative. So sine of negative 87 will be negative. Sine of a $1.05. Here we go. 19. Where's 105? Second, what do I know about sine in the second quadrant? Yep. Oh, yeah, this is fun. 257. 13, where's 257? It is? Isn't this 270? And that's, right? Third quadrant. What do we know about sine in the third quadrant? Yep, tangent's the only thing positive in the third. Uh-oh, here we go. Do we remember our radians so we don't have to convert? 16, pi over 6.
Oh, first quadrant.
Whoa, easy, champ. What's pi over 6 first?
30.
30. We remember that one. 30. First quadrant, everything's positive there. $18. Ready? Negative 2 pi over 3. What was pi over 3? What was it? What was pi over 3? 60 times 2. So negative 120. What quadrant am I in? Third quadrant. And finally, Grace, what do you know about sine in the third? Yep. Uh-oh, 460. If you don't like how big that is, what can we do? Yep, make it smaller. Subtract 360. So really, we're talking about what? Sine of 100? 20. What quadrant am I in? What quadrant, Michelle? 2? What do you know about sine in the second? There you go. We're moving. 9. Nope. Great job today. 10. Pi over 4. Times 3. Okay, you got your calculator, Art. It's no shame in using it.
135.
Quadrant. What do I know about sine in the second?
Positive.
Yep. Last one, negative 157. Go clockwise now. Going clockwise. 14.
Quadrant 2 and negative
Quadrant.
2.
That would be if it was positive 157, right? Quadrant 3. Negative for the cosine value. There you go, everyone. Nice job. Everyone all right? ASTC, using all students take classes, because now I'm going to advance this and use it differently. All right, now we're going to play a game here. What quadrant am I in? You got a 1 out of 4 shot. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Cosine is greater than 0. Do not let the greater than fool you. The cosine greater than 0 is just a fancy way of me saying what? Cosine is positive. That's all it is. Okay? That's just a fancy way of saying it's positive. Cosine is positive. Sine less than 0 is a fancy way of saying sine is. All right, so that's what you need to do right now. You got to go through each quadrant and say there's only one of them where cosine is positive and at the same time sine is negative. There's only one quadrant where that both happen at the same time. Cosine positive, sine negative. Only one quadrant. Did you find that quadrant number 16?
4.
Good job. Yep, 4. And number 12. Can you find a quadrant where sine is positive, greater than 0? And cosine is also positive, greater than 0. Both are positive at the same time. Or does that happen? 6, quadrant 1. All right. We feeling all right before we get to the big work here? We all right? Because this is I love these next 4 examples. It puts everything we've been talking about the last 24 hours to use. All right. I need some room here. So So we have two different tasks here. Is I need you to rewrite sine of 300 as a function with a positive acute angle, meaning what? Something less than 90. Okay, something less than 90, and I need you to determine what the value of it, exact value of it is. Okay, so let's get it smaller than 90 first. All right, first thing, 300 degrees. What quadrant am I in? Fourth quadrant, and I am dealing with sine. What do you know about sine in the fourth quadrant? ASTC. What do I know about sine in the fourth quadrant? Negative. So I'm going to rewrite this by saying negative sine. Now I got to make 300 smaller. What am I really looking for if I'm looking for an angle less than 90? That's another way of saying find the what? An angle less than 90, acute angle. Reference angle. 300 degrees. We've got a lot of practice in that. 300 degrees, what is my reference angle? 7, when you're ready, what is my reference angle for 300 degrees? 60. Okay, so there is job number 1. And go to your, everyone, right now, go to your calculator, make sure you're in degree mode. Do sine of 300. Do the sine of 300, and then right below it, negative sine 60. And what do you notice? They're both the same, so I did the job. I rewrote this as an angle smaller than 90. Okay, now your next job is, what's the value of that? And no, you know I don't want that sloppy decimal. So now we go to the unit circle. Here we go. From yesterday, what is the coordinate at 60 degrees on the unit circle? 5. What is the coordinate of 60 degrees on the unit circle? Comma. Okay. Which one do I want? Which coordinate do I want? And why? Which coordinate do I want? The 1/2 or the radical 3/2? Why do I want the radical 3/2 versus the 1/2? Sine is what on the unit circle? Which coordinate? Y coordinate. So that's why I picked that one. The only thing I'm missing is what? I'm in the fourth quadrant. Sine is? So make sure we have a negative radical 3/2 there. Bless you. All right, now I'm going to start asking you guys. 240. Sine of 240. Thinking, what quadrant am I in? 240. 10. What quadrant's 240 in? 10? Yeah, you should be. Let's go. 240. Third. I'm doing sine. What do I know about sine in the third? I need an acute angle now. So what is the reference angle for 240? 240. If you need to draw a sketch of it, draw a sketch of it in the third quadrant if you need to help finding the reference angle. What is the reference angle for 240? 3, when you're ready. 60 degrees, yep. And I'm not going to ask this again because we just did it in part A, right? That's going to be the same as negative radical 3/2. Correct. Is that all right with you, Brett? No, I don't. But I should ask. It's a polite thing to do, regardless of what I care about. 210. 2. Great. Where's 210?
30 degrees.
No. Just where is it? What quadrant?
Oh, quadrants number 3.
And what do I know about cosine in quadrant 3?
It is the negative. Everything's negative.
So I'm going to say negative cosine. Now I'm going to make 210 smaller. Reference angle for 210.
It's going to be 30.
It will be 30 degrees. Ooh, what's the point on the unit circle at 30 now? Oh, wait. We don't need to look back. What am I just going to do to the 60? Get in this mindset. I don't want you guys memorizing all this stuff. What am I just going to do with the 60? Flip it. That's it. 30 and 60 are just flipped. And since we're doing cosine, which one of those coordinates do I want? 19? Correct. But with a just pure coincidence that they're all the same.
I'm a little confused how you got.
Go ahead.
So how'd you get 3 radical, or radical 3 over 2? Just like how'd you like?
This one right here?
Yeah, how'd you know like to flip them around?
Because from yesterday, if you look at your unit circle and you compare the point at 30 degrees versus the point at 60 degrees, they're the same, but just flip spots,
Oh yeah, never mind. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You know, you guys could have looked back, but I'm trying to force you guys to say, oh, I just flipped the 60 I already have written down. Oh boy, now might have some issues. Cosine of negative 30. Just want to know, what quadrant am I in? That's it. 17, what quadrant am I in? 16,
Quadrant 4.
quadrant 4. And what do you know about cosine in quadrant 4? Okay, so I'm just going to, look guys, look. It's just going to be cosine, no negative out in front because it's positive in the fourth. What was the reference angle for negative 30? The reference angle for negative 30. It's not negative 30 because the reference angle has to be positive. What's the reference angle? 14. Any idea? Can't be negative. Here, ready? No, ready? Here you go. Here's negative 30 right here, right? Reference angle is this angle again.
So it's 30.
Just 30, right? Positive 30, right? Positive 30. Okay, I'm not even going to ask anymore. What's the value of it? You guys know where to go on the unit circle. Hopefully by now we know which coordinate to pick off. Cosine of 30 is equal to what? 10?
I'm actually a bit confused on this step.
Okay, what's the coordinate at 30 on the unit circle?
Radical 3 over 2,
1 half, correct? I'm doing cosine art. So do I want the x coordinate or the y coordinate from yesterday if you're doing cosine? Okay, what is the x coordinate? Done. No negative because I'm doing cosine in the fourth. Everyone all right there? Questions you want to ask? Go in. Anything at all.
How's your day going?
It's fine, and I'm going to make an executive decision right here. I'm going to stop. Okay? I will do, because I want you guys dead set on what to do with this stuff we're doing right now. So I'm going to continue the notes from tomorrow. So right now what I want you to do here is page 28. Okay? Page 28 of your notes right now. Okay? Do not go to page 29 because I didn't do that part of the notes today. All right? I want to stop right here and not feed your minds more stuff. Okay? So go right now to page 28. I'll walk around helping you out. Do not do sloppy decimals on the calculator.